Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Now, what has happened today in Parliament is something again quite unprecedented. Now, Lok Sabha saw sharp verbal exchanges during the budget session after leader of the opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, sought to quote a magazine article containing excerpts from former Indian Chief General MM Naravane's unpublished memoir called Four Stars of Destiny. Now, Rahul Gandhi's reply during the motion of thanks on the president's address was interrupted by the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, who raised concern about the fact that the Congress MP cannot quote from an unpublished book, which he said has not been authenticated. Moments into his speech, Rahul Gandhi referred to an allegation made by BJP MP Tejasvi Surya against the Congress, linking it to questions of patriotism and national culture. Now, the ruling benches objected to Gandhi's attempt to cite excerpts from an unpublished memoir of former Army Chief General Naravane. Responding to Tejasvi Surya's allegation, Rahul Gandhi said, and I'm going to quote him, a young colleague over there made an allegation against the Congress party. I was not going to raise this issue, but because he has raised the issue about our patriotism, about our understanding of the Indian culture, I'd like to start by reading something. And this is from the memoir of Army Chief Naravane. And I'd like you to listen nicely. You will understand exactly who is patriotic, who is not. So this was the crux of what happened in the House. But if you carefully look at some of the excerpts from this Four Stars of Destiny, which has been published in the Caravan magazine, if I can put out the code graphics for you, and I'm going to raise certain points which were there as part of the essay. Now look at certain portions which have come out, which are not comfortable to the government. Let's be honest, that because General Naravane named Rajnath Singh, because he pointed at the top leadership for some quick decision making at the time of the Galwan clashes, which is what is seemingly making the government uncomfortable. Now look at this. The first part I'm going to show you. What did Naravane say in his memoir? To each and every one, my question was, what are my orders? The command who wanted to open fire with all possible means. My position was critical. This is one portion. Let's play out some more one by one, all the portions of that essay. Nisha, if you can play out the next clip. Yes. Now look at the next plate. A government committee which has yet to give me clear-cut executive orders, purely a military decision. I had been handed a hot potato. This is all part of the essay which has come out in the Caravan magazine. But yes, of course, the book has not been published. Next plate. Yes. With this carte blanche, the onus was now totally on me. We were ready in all respects. But did I really want to start a war? Okay, the next question. There was neither any authorization to fire nor any restriction, no guardrails, no contingency framework. We cannot be the first ones to fire. It was a game of bluff, and the PLA blinked first. So this is, in a way, a crux of what Naravane has written. Now look at this plate. It was one of the saddest days of my entire career. Losing 20 men in a day was hard to bear. The decisions arrived at were only in the nature of in principle agreements. So which means that he was not happy with the manner in which the top leadership took decision at such a crucial juncture. Now look at this plate. In the absence of proper records or minutes, it was difficult to move forward. So this is how General Naravane has expressed his helplessness. So this is what the crux was. So the questions we are raising, that is the government really uncomfortable, or the government is scared that there will be questions raised on the top leadership? And the government and the BJP government keeps talking about a nationalistic narrative all the time. So does this puncture the nationalistic narrative of the BJP? And secondly, if you look at Lok Sabha Speaker, he kept on citing rules. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju also cited rules, saying that the rules say that you cannot talk about a book or a memoir which is not published. You have to prove it, bring evidence. So Rahul Gandhi did point out that many times it has happened before as well. So were the rules misinterpreted? That's also another question. Let's put out the tweet of Mr. K.C. Venugopal. If you have it ready, Nisha, if you're there at the backstage, and if we have the tweet of K.C. Venugopal, and if you can play that out. Okay, so we'll wait for the K.C. Venugopal's tweet. But in the meanwhile, I'll want to introduce my guest panelists this evening. General Ashok Mehta, independent security expert, joins us. So thank you so much for joining. PDT Achari, former Secretary General of Lok Sabha, joins us. Thank you, sir, so much for joining. Sujata Paul, Congress spokesperson, joins us. Thank you so much. And T.K. Rajlakshmi, senior editor of the Frontline magazine, also joins us. Thank you so much, Rajlakshmi. And I'll begin with Sujata today, because it was about Rahul Gandhi making a point today. He was not allowed to speak. Rules were cited, and there were also allegations that Rahul Gandhi was not heeding to what the chair, that is Om Birla, was speaking. And in fact, the situation snowballed to an extent where Mr. Amit Shah and several other leaders said that if the leader of the opposition goes on violating what the speaker is saying, then there should be a rule on this. What would you say to that, Sujata?
Good evening, Neelu, to my co-panelists and to your audiences. The fact of the matter here clearly is that the government is scared. The government is scared because they will be exposed if Rahul Gandhi was to be allowed to speak. And that is the reason why they did not allow him to speak, because the book that we are talking about, it has not been officially published yet, but it is under review of the Ministry of Defense and other government bodies. That means they are holding it up. And if it has sensitive information regarding Indo-China relations, then this needs to come out, because we remember what the Prime Minister had said when he gave a clean chit to China, saying that koi andar na ghusa hai, na ghusa hua hai. And Rajnath Singh ji had stood up in Parliament and said that there had been a transgression and we had lost our soldiers. Now the fact is that all these things are mentioned in the book, and if Rahul Gandhi was quoting it, they were scared because they know that this is going to expose them. When they kept on insisting, even before it was spoken, that it was all false. How do they know it was false? Are they trying to say that General Naravane was speaking false when he was writing this memoir of his? When he has spoken, then are you going to attack General Naravane, who has been Chief of Army Staff in the time of BJP from 2019 to 2022? And of course, did you notice that the speaker, he was so partisan? When Rahul Gandhi ji was speaking, what he was trying to tell Mr. K.C. Venugopal and others were, why are you becoming his advocates? Why did Amit Shah stand up to defend Tejasvi Surya? Did you see for how long he defended him and how he justified what Tejasvi Surya had said? And he kept saying that, he has said nothing wrong. He was mentioning your term, etc., and the various president addresses at that time. But did the speaker stop him? No. So clearly, this party of the BJP has put national security at risk. China has come really into our homes, and the government has been able to do little. And in the Epstein files, if there are questions being raised on the Prime Minister, he will have no answers, and nobody in the BJP will answer as to why he went to Israel and danced and sang for the US president.
Sujata, let's restrict ourselves to what happened today in Lok Sabha. I don't want to get into the Epstein files detail. We can talk about it later. But coming to General Mehta, what would you really say to a book which has not been published? It's published in the Caravan magazine as part of an essay which Rahul Gandhi is alluding to. He was referencing to that essay to bring out the problem of what happened and what happens thereof, as far as India and China relations are concerned. Now, Speaker also told him that, this is not part of the president's address. Do you think that such a sensitive issue, uh, was there some kind of a cheap politics on this? Did you find that? Or did Rahul Gandhi really make sense when he talked about this issue? Because in between that conversation and the ruckus which happened inside Lok Sabha, I was also hearing the speaker saying that, no, you can't describe this. And then Rahul Gandhi did ask him very clearly that, okay, so you don't want me to say anything on China, you don't want me to say anything on Pakistan, you don't want me to talk about anything which is related to international issues. How would you look at this particular incident? General Mehta, you'll have to unmute yourself, please. Yeah. General Mehta, can you hear me? You'll have to unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself. Yeah. Oh, okay. So let me go to Raj Lakshmi and then I'll come to Mr. PDT Achari about the rules, that whether the rules were misinterpreted or not. Raj Lakshmi, what would you say to this incident? Rahul Gandhi quoting an essay published in Caravan, and even that becomes so uncomfortable for the Treasury benches.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I quite can't quite understand.
Right.
I think
Raj
he.
Lakshmi,
Uh,
sorry.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
Janata Mehta is back, so I'll go to
yeah,
him and then I'll come to you.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Janata Mehta, go ahead, please.
Audible? Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, now the first thing is that I have heard the Raksha Mantri and the External Affairs Ministry, Minister Jaishankar, in the Lok Sabha on various matters relating to national security. And as you said, they are extremely jittery when it comes to China. As my mother used to say, that when it comes to Pakistan, my mother would have been 110 years old tomorrow. She used to say that when it comes to Pakistan, हमारे लोग शेर बन जाते हैं और जब when it comes to China, वो चूहा बन जाते हैं. I think that's a perfect illustration of the way this government is dealing with China. I have heard ministers say that if that there's no compunction about speaking about Pakistan, but when it comes to China, you can go back to the Galwan issue or to what Naravane has said in Four Stars of Destiny. The government says that if we let you discuss this, this will affect national security and the morale of our soldiers. I have not understood how it will affect national security because unless you have something to hide, yes, indeed. And as far as the book is concerned, I mean, it's not just appeared in Caravan today. I have seen excerpts of Four Stars of Destiny in the Indian Express, in so many other newspapers, when the intelligence, military intelligence, released the draft. After all, it could not have gone to publishers to publish without clearance by the military intelligence. So it is wrong to say that it was not cleared. It was cleared, but you know how they clear the book. Ministers don't see it. Bureaucrats see the book. Bureaucrats don't have the time to read everything. And in this case, there were military bureaucrats. So, and it's a former army chief, and he's written what he has written. And in Four Stars of Destiny, two key issues that I read, that I can recollect, were revealed both terribly embarrassing for the government. One was the Agniveer scheme, which was, according to General Narwane, the army chief, it was virtually imposed on us. It was like I think the word he uses is bombshell. I won't talk about Agniveer, but let's focus on China and on this particular episode, that is Operation Snow Leopard. Operation Snow Leopard was one of the most brilliant operations carried out by the Indian Army.
No, but General Mehta, that's fine. But what is your sense after
No,
you
no,
saw the
just
Rahul Gandhi clip?
Nilu,
What you saw in
Nilu,
Parliament? Yes,
Nilu, uh, it was a
General
brilliant
Mehta, can you
operation.
hear me?
But what the army chief says in his excerpts was that on 31st August, when Chinese tanks were approaching Kailash Heights, and we were occupying Kailash Heights because it was on our side, he called up the Raksha Mantri at 9:30 that night to say, what am I to do? My army commander is asking me, shall I fire? These tanks are 500 yards from me. And Rajnath Singh didn't answer his phone. He says, NSA did not answer my phone, CDS did not answer my phone, and the External Affairs Minister did not answer my phone. And then at 10:30, after one more call, Rajnath Singh called him and said, मैंने प्रधानमंत्री से बात की है और प्रधानमंत्री कह रहे हैं कि ये एक मिलिट्री सिचुएशन है, जैसे आप उचित माने वैसे कीजिए.
No, but
Do as
no, but General Mehta, what do you think was the reason why the treasury benches were opposing Rahul Gandhi inside Lok Sabha?
no,
And then I'll go to
simply,
Mr. Achari.
simply because you carry out a military operation and you tell the army chief, army chief says in his book or in the excerpts that I was told by the highest authority, that is the
Yes,
prime minister, you will not be the first to fire. If I, as the prime minister, have told you, my chief of army staff, that you will not fire first, and I am now asking you, they are 500 yards away, should I fire or not? The answer should not be that जैसे आपको उचित लगे. Secondly, he said there was no strategic or political guidance given to me,
yes,
and he erred on the side of caution, and we lost a very predominant great strategic advantage, and we are
right.
where we
All
are.
right,
So the government and the BJP in parliament are
right,
scared that these revelations will reveal the bankruptcy of the BJP government in
right.
giving orders and directions.
Right. All right. Now let me come to Mr. PDT Achari because the entire duration of when we saw this ruckus, rules were being cited. Rules were being cited by the chair, that is Mr. Om Birla, the speaker. Rules were cited by Mr. Amit Shah. Rules were cited by Mr. Rajnath Singh. And the speaker also told the leader of the opposition that you cannot be describing like this. You cannot be discussing like this. Is there any rule, Mr. Achari, which stops the leader of the opposition or from talking on an issue like this? And can you bind this important issue within rules and say that no, the house, how will a house function if the leader of the opposition is talking about these things? So I think you'll have to unmute yourself. Mr. Acharya, unmute yourself. Yeah. Okay.
Under Article 105 of the Constitution of India, members of Parliament have freedom of speech in the House. And this freedom of speech is subject only to the other provisions of the Constitution and the rules of the House. Now, the question is whether a member can exercise his freedom of speech in the House to the fullest extent. Well, there are some rules which kind of puts certain checks on that. Now, this Rule 349 has been quoted in the House very liberally. Rule 349 simply says that you cannot read a newspaper or a book, etc., in the house unless it is related to the business of the house. Unless it is related to the business of the house. It means if it is related to the business of the house, for example, a particular book or a newspaper or anything, if it is related to the business of the house, certainly you can do that. That is the simple meaning of that. Now, the question is whether what Rahul Gandhi raised in the house is in any way related to the business of the house. What exactly is the business before the house? It is the discussion on the motion of thanks. Motion of thanks on the President's address. Now, President's address, as you know, is a document which contains the policies and programs and the perspectives of the government on national and international issues. So, in that document, naturally, there must be a reference to the India-China relationship. And naturally, every member of the House has the freedom, has the right to speak about any of those subjects which have been mentioned in the President's address. Normally, the practice is, when the motion of thanks is under discussion in the House, people can speak about any subject under the sun. That is the convention, that is the practice, which has been followed in this House right from the beginning. That is the thing. And nobody will restrict. In fact, see, the chair has to allow a member to exercise his freedom of speech. That is the basic principle. That is the basic approach. That should be the basic approach of the chair, to allow a member to exercise his freedom of speech.
But Mr. Achari, after you saw the clip, did you feel that the speaker was trying to restrain Rahul Gandhi from making a point, which was of national importance? He also emphasized later on, when the House got adjourned till 3, then the House got adjourned till 4, and after that, the House got adjourned for the day. So during that time, for the second time, Jagdambika Pal was in the chair, and that time also Rahul Gandhi was trying to make a point that, look, this is a matter which is related to the national security, and we want to make a point regarding that. So did you feel that the speaker was trying to restrain Rahul Gandhi, which he shouldn't have?
Well, I'm not going to comment on what the speaker did or did not do. On
Right.
this, what I'm saying is the position of the rules and the conventions followed in the House, conventions and the practices followed in the House. That will, I think, throw a lot of light on this issue, and things will become clear.
No, but did you feel did you sense a violation of the rules? Did you feel that maybe the rules are being misinterpreted?
Let me formulate it the way I want. See, the point is whether Rahul Gandhi can be allowed to read from an unpublished book. That was the issue there. Actually, that book has not been published. Okay. But then the point is, in this House, there were many times when members brought before the House confidential documents in the possession of the government. There were many occasions.
Yes.
After all, I spent 40 years in the Lok Sabha.
Yes.
So I have seen such occasions. Confidential documents of the government, CBI reports, many of such confidential things, have been brought before the House by members, and the Speaker had given the ruling. Speaker allows them on the condition that they stand by it and they can authenticate it.
Yes.
They say the members take the responsibility for what is there in the report or what is there in the article. Then the Speaker cannot disallow a member from reading it or referring to it. He can lay it on the table of the House. That is the most important thing which we should bear in mind when we deal with this particular subject. What exactly is the limit of this freedom? So member of parliament has freedom, a great deal of freedom to say what he wants. Only thing is that he has to take responsibility for what he says. Now, the point is, when a member makes a statement in the House, he must have satisfied himself about the veracity of that statement, of that matter. And he cannot tell a lie to the House. There, he would be hauled up for breach of privilege if he misleads the House. That is it. That is why, if the member takes responsibility for what he says, then the speaker cannot prevent him from reading or referring to that in the House in his speech. So that is these are the basic things, which one should learn when they deal with these matters. And in the House, I have not seen anyone raising these matters. I mean, these past rulings. There are any number of rulings on this subject. It is not the first time that a person is reading from something, which has not been laid on the table or which has not been published or something.
Right.
It has been done on many occasions, and many rulings have been given by the speaker. Somebody, in fact, somebody from the Congress side should have quoted these rulings when they come to the House on such an important occasion, especially when they know that the leader of the opposition was going to raise this matter. They should have equipped themselves with all the past rulings and things like that, and then sought the advice of people who know things.
Right.
That
No,
is
you
not-
made an important point. Let me get in Sujata here. Sujata, we did see Congress leaders getting up from the benches, but why was nobody quoting the rule? In fact, KC Venugopal was seen shouting, and the speaker and Jagdambika Pal also said in between when he was on the chair that why are you making a running commentary on what Rahul Gandhi is saying? But we rarely saw any Congress leader pointing out the rule. Why was that so?
No, not at all. I don't think I don't know how you missed out Mr. KC Venugopal holding up the rule book also, but we were not being allowed to speak. No. I told you earlier also that the speaker was telling Mr. KC Venugopal not to be an advocate for Rahul Gandhi, and there are no advocates in the Lok Sabha. The same did not apply to Amit Shah. That means the speaker is being partisan. And if they had to have a discussion, should the discussion not have been allowed the way a person wants to speak? If I want to put up my points, I will have to do it the way I want to, not according to somebody else. And when we are talking about the presidential address, it has the national and the international components. So if we are talking about Indo-China relations and what has happened in the past, and that clearly exposes what this government is all about. This is a government which calls other people anti-national, gives them certificates, but they themselves are anti-national, because what General Saab was just talking about, from 8:15 p.m. on that night of 31st August 2020 till 10:30, General Naravane has written that he was asking for permission, and he kept asking, "What am I supposed to do?" And he was being given conflicting answers. Sometimes Rajnath Singh was telling him something, then he would call him up again and say, "I've spoken to the Prime Minister. This is what he has said." He spoke to the NSA, Ajit Doval, and what was happening? There was a loud noise, and he was informed about it, and then we needed to take action. Why did we step back when we could have saved 20 of our brave hearts? But those 20 brave hearts, those 20 brave hearts lost their lives because of the government of India's stance.
I think there's some echo. If people can unmute themselves, I think it'll be better. Okay. Yes, Sujata, complete your point, then I'll come.
So what I'm saying is that this is a very serious issue, not just for the national security, but this is something that in a democracy every single Indian should know, that General Naravane was not allowed to advance and to protect his men, because it was the government of India which refused to give direction. That is the point of the matter. And no rule can stop the people of India from knowing that their government has failed them, and failed them, especially when they call themselves nationalistic.
Right. Okay. So, what is your view, Raj Lakshmi, if you have to look at this entire episode in totality? First, it's the freedom of expression of a Lok Sabha, of the leader of the opposition. Rules are being cited. Do you feel that the rules were misinterpreted somewhere? And then an issue like this of national importance or national security, should this be addressed by the opposition leaders while they are responding to the president's motion of thanks? So there are two, three issues here. How would you look at this whole issue in entirety?
Clearly, Mr. Acharya has already spoken on this, that the MP's right to freedom of speech is there, and it's only circumscribed by, certain specific conditions, and that they have the right to ask, on and speak on issues of public importance, and of national importance. And here was an issue that concerned, our security, national security for that matter. So I don't see any reason why a discussion should not have been sort of allowed on it, or rather, perhaps if the government sort of needed some more time to respond to it, I think it could have taken its own time, and it could have suggested that this can be taken up, at a subsequent, later date, etc. So again, the fact that that an MP cannot ask a question, going beyond the presidential address is not true at all. I mean, because as long as it falls, within the remit of public importance, and in fact, for that matter, it can be anything. I mean, it can be about a bill, it can be about something that is going to be legislated, it can be about any government policy for that matter. And here is something that clearly, I think, demanded some kind of an explanation from the government, whether for its lack of omission and commission. I mean, that's of course yet to be established, and the book, and the excerpts do, allude to some lack of, uh, let's say, lack of accountability, rather, or rather sort of lack of responsibility, and and wherein I think, the military leadership felt, hemmed in as such, and they, because, because of a lack of, decisiveness on part of the executive, essentially. So I'm just saying that, whatever be the issue, I'm sure that a discussion could have sort of happened. Uh, in fact, without saber rattling. There's no need to sort of
Right.
demonize. In fact, anybody, for that matter, China also. I mean, or in fact, of course, this government does go, overboard as far as, Pakistan is concerned. But we know that, So I think it can be
No, but
discussed.
do you
Discussion.
believe,
No need to
Lakshmi? No, but do
Yeah.
you believe that the government was, in a way, not wanting all this to go on record, about this essay Naravane is mentioned in his book? Obviously, government didn't want this to go on record, and that was the sole reason why the entire Treasury bench rose up against Rahul Gandhi.
Yeah, I mean, it's counterproductive for them, frankly speaking, because the more they try to, let's say, cover up, maybe not be the correct term, but maybe they try to sort of obfuscate it by saying that this is not part of the presidential address,
Yeah.
and that, and that the MP is going sort of beyond his remit to ask such questions, which is actually sort of not the case, as in fact, president will show. And as Mr. Acharya said also, that the Congress should have hurled the rule book at them and said that there is adequate, precedent to show that things have been discussed, that have gone, beyond the presidential speech as well. So, but and the fact is that the book is going to come out, Neelu, and everybody has
Right.
read that excerpt. So
Yes.
it's not, a secret, I mean,
Right.
anymore. So for the government to try to not allow discussion on it, it just fails my, it fails reason. In fact, I can't really understand, because it is going to be discussed. It has
Right.
already
And
been
it
published.
also in a way, punctures the nationalist narrative which BJP tries to keep building. But one quick question to Mr. Achari before I wind up the show. Mr. Achari, do you think that there can be a political backlash, in the legal terms, from the point of view of the House against Rahul Gandhi? Can there be a punitive action against him? Because we saw many people from the Treasury benches side saying that he's, in a way, disobeying what the chair is saying. Now, can there be an action against Rahul Gandhi on this? I would want to know before I end the show. Yes.
Well, there is a rule which says that
Okay.
a person, can be
Can be hauled up.
suspended
Oh my
from the
God.
house,
Okay.
if he continuously defies the chair. Now that rule is there. It has been there ever since our parliament started. And of course, it has been used, misused, and all that at different times. But the rule is there. That is there. If
Okay, so
that is the answer which you want.
to Mr. Achari, suspension or revoking the Lok Sabha membership, can it go to that extent, like what we saw last time?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
That is not possible. Suspension from the House.
Suspension from the House.
Suspension from the sittings of the House for a certain period. That can be done. I don't say that it is going to be done or it should be done or anything. No. You are asking about the rule. I said there is a rule. That is all. Yeah, that is all.
Okay, so if there is a rule, the rule can be always misused, and who knows what we are going to see in Parliament tomorrow. So let's wait and watch how this.
Question for Mr. Acharya. Question for Mr. As a leader of the opposition, does the leader of the opposition enjoy a privilege more than a normal member? And if that is the case, he's the leader of the opposition, surely it's an exception, and I agree entirely that Congress should have held their ground. He should have kept standing.
Yes.
Can I? Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Achari, go on.
In fact, that's a very sensible question, which the general has asked. Leader of the opposition, is the counterpart of the Prime Minister. Prime Minister is the leader of the House, and the leader of the opposition is the leader of the entire opposition, not merely of the Congress party. He represents the entire opposition. Now, leader of the opposition has certain privileges in the House. Number one, whenever he stands up, rises to make a point, raise a point, the speaker shall allow him. But there is no rule or anything about that. But this is the convention in all jurisdictions wherever this parliamentary system is there. The leader of the opposition has this privilege. And of course, there are certain other privileges, but these are not very relevant here. But this is one of the things, which is very important. In the House, he has a primacy over other people. When the leader of the opposition rises to say something, even when the Prime Minister is speaking, then the leader of the opposition will be allowed by the speaker, or should be allowed by the speaker, to raise his point. Because leader of the opposition, when he makes a point in the House, he represents the entire opposition in the House. That is the position of the leader of the opposition.
Right. All right. So we'll wait and watch what happens in Parliament today. For now, the House has been adjourned. Thank you so much, Mr. Achari, General Mehta, Sujata, Rajlakshmi. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.